All right, so I'm not a huge fan of this query editor inline. It's handy for some things, obviously, but I'm going to not go into that. What I want to do is I want to access this database using the traditional way, which is SQL Server Management Studio. So if you have had access to SQL Server on your local or in a server environment, you might be familiar with this management software. If you don't, I would recommend that you go find it, get it, install SQL Server Management Studio, and this will allow you to access your databases running in the cloud. So I can put in the server name. I have the server, the test user. If you remember my test account that we created when we set it up, the admin account. All right, so we're able to connect into this database just as we would a SQL Server running in our data center. And as we go in to here, we can see that we have our database into the server and absolutely no tables, views, or anything of user-created options whatsoever, as we would expect. So at this point, we can then do our normal thing, which is to create our databases or run our SQL scripts, whatever it is we want to use to configure this database. We can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up for our employee. So we're going to create 255 character first name, 255 character last name, and then if I click save, I have to give it a name. I'm going to call it employee. So now we have, now this isn't a great relational table because we don't have a unique identifier, an ID field. We don't have a primary key on this, etc. But this is a valid SQL Server table. We have our first name and last name. And so we've created it. It should be exactly represented within the console. So if I go back into Query Editor, log in again, then our SQL database now has an employee table. And we can start working in .NET code or whatever language we want with inserting and selecting data from our database table.